Whatever path you are on, whatever inspired you to come here today, we honor you and we welcome you. And now, our message.
It's also time for the children to go back to class. If anyone has kids they want to send back there, teachers are going back. Before we begin with the message, I always like to do a little evocation or invocation, whatever you choose. Just kind of to get us settled and centered and aware of why we're here. So take a moment, take this moment and relax. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. And with all the loving music and sharing and fellowship that has gone on this morning, know that you are in a sacred, divine place. It feels good. Just breathe into that, knowing that you are here this morning to grow and to share, to learn, to understand, to find your way. May you know that you make a difference. May you know that there are answers here today, in the message or in the music or in someone you speak to or after service. And you may be the message to someone else, the answer. So may we be open today in understanding. May we be clear and acknowledge and be grateful for all that we have, for all that we are. May we understand that there is a oneness, a source, a divine intelligence, an ultimate reality, a spiritual existence that is a part of us, that we are a part of, that it is something that makes a difference in the world, in our lives, that we can use it, that we have choice, that we have control in our lives of our experiences. And in that place, be grateful, give thanks, and say with me, and so it is. Reverend Allie has her message today, Embrace Abundance.
Yay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, hi. So good to see you all. So good to see you.
Excuse me.
Maybe it's time for another song. Thank you. That's lovely. I know that you songbirds have been practicing a couple times a week, and it's just such a joy to hear the Spirit sing through you all. So thank you. This is a new month with a new theme, and the theme here, lower this a bit. The theme here is abundance. Abundance. So all month long, we've got 4 Sundays in which I'm going to be sharing some ideas about abundance, prosperity, and how to have a richer and a more abundant life. And so I think all of us I know already that all of you want that. Yes?
Yes.
A richer, more prosperous and abundant life?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So my theme, my talk today is Embrace Abundance. And I've used this amazing little book for all of the talks that I'll be sharing with you this month. A friend of mine wrote this book, and her name's Edwene Gaines, and I actually purchased this from her, and she signed it. And for those of you that are intrigued by this little older lady, I have a picture of myself and her on my phone, which I'd be happy to share with you afterwards. She wrote this book, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, a simple guide to unlimited abundance. She wrote this several years ago, but she's actually been teaching this for over 30 years. She's been traveling around the country, around the world actually, sharing her message of abundance. And she does this 250 days per year, and she's done this for 30 years. She is a very wealthy woman, and it wasn't always that way. She put these principles into practice and went from a single mother that was struggling to feed herself and her child to a woman that owns a beautiful retreat center that has hundreds of people come through, thousands of people come through to learn these principles every year. So I thought that I would share these amazing, easy, simple 4 spiritual principles with you. And as I read through them, I thought, okay, we're talking about abundance here. And it's easy to stand up here and teach something. But what I felt that would be more important to start with, other than teaching you how to put it into action, is to shine the spotlight back on us as a center. To put the flashlight of attention on the Satya Center to see if we're walking our talk here. So, that's what I'm doing. I want to deliver these principles and look at ourselves as an organization to see if we are in alignment with them. Doesn't that feel good to you to know that we as a center are in alignment with what we're teaching, especially when it comes to money?
Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like once you get an understanding of these 4 principles, and I outline how we as a spiritual center are putting them into practice, that next week and the week after and the week after, we'll be able to put the flashlight back on you to see if these are things that you would like to put into practice in your life so that you can have a prosperous, abundant life. So, Ernest Holmes says on abundance, it's a consciousness. A consciousness of abundance attracts more abundance, while fear or lack attracts limitation. So many of us have fear around money. Many of us have a lack consciousness. And many of us don't really know why this is. We just seem to not have enough. We maybe just continue to hold on to stories that our parents, grandparents, and their grandparents taught them. Beliefs, ingrained, subconscious beliefs about money, about your worth, about your value. So, it's a consciousness. That's the first key here to understand. Truly accepting an abundant, prosperous life begins with us. It begins with each individual. So, it begins with the center, the Satya Center. Do we have a healthy abundance consciousness? Can we stand up and talk about money's abundance, what it means? Yes. So Ernest Holmes says this about prosperity. Prosperity is the outpicturing of substance in our affairs. The outpicturing of substance in our affairs. Everything in the universe is for us. Nothing is against us. We must know that everywhere we go, we meet friendship, love, human interest, and helpfulness. Life is ever giving of itself. We must receive, utilize, and extend the gift. Success and prosperity are spiritual attributes belonging to all people, but not necessarily used by all people. So this tells me that we have to understand this, that we live in a friendly, loving, caring, creative universe, and it responds to us through the consciousness we have about it. Make sense? Okay. So, it doesn't work for everyone because not everyone's walking this Not everyone's working prosperity and abundance on a consciousness level. So it starts on the inside. So it starts on the inside. It started on the inside for us as a spiritual community 5.5 years ago. We started visioning and talking about having a spiritual center. We started immediately putting out a basket saying, well, in order to do this, we need donations. We need money to come in. This doesn't just come out of thin air. We need brick and mortar building. We need staff. We need advertising. We realized that we needed things. So we immediately started allowing a flow to come in that would support our center. Now, Edwene defines prosperity as 4 things. A vitally alive physical body to provide a comfortable worldly home for the spiritual beings that we are. Make sense? Prosperity is relationships that are satisfying, nurturing, honest, and that work all the time. Prosperity is work that we love so much that it's not work, it's play. And prosperity is all the money we can spend. All the money we can spend. Now that can kind of, us that come from the old school, some of the old school traditional churches may go, oh, well, that's not very spiritual. All the money you can spend. That's max of greed. Well, that's just some old thinking. That's some old conditioning. We live in an abundant universe. The kingdom is at hand. The queendom is at hand. The table is laid out rich before us. We get to feast at this table and bring forth the many gifts that we have. And doesn't it make life easier to have money to spend on the things that we desire, the things that support us physically, and our ability to serve others? Now, I think of rich people. I think of Oprah Winfrey, for instance. Now, I don't think of her as a greedy person. I think more of her as a very generous person that does great good with her billions of dollars. And I imagine she has a plan after she leaves this planet Earth to continue that. That's what people that truly understand prosperity, wealth, and abundance do. That's what we want to do here at the center. We want to create an endowment, meaning a fund that will go on to source and fund the Satya Center for Spiritual Living in Ogden, Utah, long after we're gone. We would like to create a learning center here that teaches people these very, very basic spiritual principles so that they can succeed in life. They can realize their worth and go out there and make a difference and spark that light in everyone they meet. That's what prosperity is, and that's what abundance is. And that's what having all the money you want to spend does. So we as a center are available and allowing, because those are the 2 keys for abundance, to be available and to be allowing. We are available and allowing to have the abundant flow of the universe flow through us and out into the community to support our youth, to support those that are hungry, to support those that are seeking this message. So let's shine the light back on the center. Are we a vitally alive spiritual center? Because she says vitally alive physical body for us to move around and have this experience. But let's put this back on the center. Is our center a vitally alive spiritual center? Do we provide a comfortable home for our spiritual family? This means yes. That means okay, good. All right. I'm not just the talking head. Okay, so you've all come here on Sunday. Most of you have come to other things we offer, correct? So would you say, are we walking our talk here? Are we providing a vitally alive spiritual center? Yes?
Yes.
Do you get a fresh message every week?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you see smiling faces?
Yes.
Do you feel welcomed when you come in the door?
Yes.
Are there cookies and goodies out on the table?
Yes.
Is there birthday cake today? Thank you, Carol and
Yes.
Alan. Yes. Happy birthday! Do you feel supported by the sacred sounds, the drum circles, the Divine Feminine group, the single sangha, the yoga, the diksha, and all of the other classes and offerings that we have? Do you feel supported?
Yes.
Good. So maybe we're in alignment with that first one. We're providing a vitally alive spiritual center. Check one off the list. Okay. Do we have relationships that are satisfying, nurturing, honest? And do they work all the time? Ooh. Now we come into a spiritual community as a spiritual family, and guess what? We show up with all of our junk, right? We didn't just show up here all enlightened and all, oh, namaste, sister. We come in and we're going, if we've got unresolved issues, say some judgment and criticism going on inside us, or some old habits, they're going to surface up. They're going to surface here at the spiritual community more quickly than they will anywhere else, other than when you're with your parents, or when you're at work, and when you've got a difficult boss, then they will rise up too. But the key thing here is with creating loving relationships that work, the thing that Science of Mind and self-empowerment teaches, that who's responsible? Who's responsible for your relationships? We are all, we teach responsibility here, and we're all responsible. 100% for everything we're experiencing. Even the stuff that's not working. Why? Because it wouldn't have shown up in your field had it not been something that you attracted. And you may say, well, I don't like this thing called I lost my job, or I don't like this thing called a sore foot, or I don't like... Everything shows up that is unhealed to be healed, to be revealed. It reveals, the universe reveals itself to us so that we can heal it and create a friendship with it. So, are we here creating opportunities for people to come into alignment with being a friendly kind of person? It's up to you. Now, friendship requires that you be friendly. Oh. Imagine that. So I remember as a child, I wasn't very friendly. I was so shy. And I was always wondering why I didn't have any friends. Now that lasted for years. I didn't get this. I allowed that to become my excuse. I'm shy. I'm an introvert. Oh, those people don't have friends. Well, is that true? No, I have lots of friends now. We can change our mind. We can change our consciousness about these things once we're aware of them. So, we are the ones that can use this spiritual community to create friendships, relationships that work, that are fun, all the time. That's a challenge. I frame that up differently. I'm challenging you to that. It isn't a challenge. It might be though, if you decide it to be. So the third one, do we co-create our community? No, this isn't. This is more of the same one. So we are in the business of co-creating this community. And we offer everybody an opportunity to co-create the community by joining a Seva team. Seva is a Sanskrit word that means selfless service. So that is one of the ways we provide you and all of our members that aren't here today an opportunity to play in this field of spiritual community by doing those wonderful things like making cookies or singing songs, or teaching a class, or offering a drum circle. All the various different things we do, you can join in. You can become a part of the things we do. Marketing, events, There's a lot of ways for you to develop friendships, long-lasting, long-rooted friendships here at this community. So I feel like we're in alignment there. Do we have an income to support our center? Do we have an income to support our center? What do you think? Just by a show of hands, how many people in the room think that we have an income that supports what we're doing? Okay, good. So that implies that you're thinking about, okay, well, when that basket comes around at the end, we're going to put some money in here because we enjoy coming here and we like these events, and that those two ministers aren't half bad, and yeah, we like that, and we'll put our money in. Thank you. We are creating opportunities through the offerings we have at the Carriage House to bring in income. Michelle is working on these wonderful events with her team to bring in income so that we can have a greater impact in our area. So one day in the not too distant future, we have our own home. It takes all of us in this room. This sounds like a little bit of a hypocrisy I'm about to say. So I'll clarify. We don't have this secret magical trust fund, the mother organization that's feeding us money here to do what we're doing. But we do in God. There is an infinite, continuous source and supply from the universe that shows up as money to support what we're doing. So it doesn't come from an invisible source. We don't go back to the center and the big vault is there and it was supplied with, magic money when we get back there after service. It comes through peoples that come to our events. That's how we continue to manifest income through our community. So Edwene talks about how we can build the consciousness even more so through following particular guidelines. So you have an understanding of these spiritual laws, and now we're going to see how we can put them into practice more effectively so that we can grow our center, so we can have more people sitting in the seats, so we can have deeper friendships, so we can break out into our small groups and go do those fun things that we love to do. Go hiking with our Satya Center friends. Go do kirtan down in Salt Lake with our Satya Center friends. Go have movie night with our friends. There's lots of opportunities here for us to put these principles into action. So, the last one is, we must have clear-cut goals. Clear-cut goals, a divine purpose, and clear-cut goals. So do we have that? Do we have a divine purpose here at the Satya Center? And do we have clear-cut goals? Well, our mission and vision, I'll read it to you. Our purpose is to inspire and foster spiritual expansion by allowing and embracing a loving, trans-denominational community. Our mission is to empower each other through teaching, healing, and serving for the highest good of all. Our vision is to remain open to all possibilities and the eternal awakening of our conscious awareness. Now, that's our mission and vision. So that sounds like an intention, and within that we can develop clear-cut goals, and that's what our board of directors does. It takes that mission and vision and listens to you guys as you make suggestions, as you tell us what you want, and we create a plan. We organize what we're doing here, so we month after month have goals, and we're moving towards what we want to create and bring to you as this spiritual community. And then the last one is, you must tithe. Now, tithing is a word. I see people's eyes gloss over when that word gets thrown out there, because they're like, oh God, I thought this was a center that didn't talk about that. That's just the Catholic Church and the LDS Church that talk about that. Well, actually, no. All churches, all spiritual centers, all non-profits take in donations. That's how they run. And the word tithe just simply means a tenth. And so I'm going to look at that later on in my talk a little bit about what that 10% law really means on a metaphysical level. So we need to look at us. Are we doing that? Yes. And many of you that have been here for years or months have heard us talk about us being a tithing center. That means a lot to us. We do this, we participate in tithing, which means 10% of everything we bring in goes back out into the community, because we are saying we believe in the abundant flow of the divine through our lives. We believe that God is our source and supply. So we allow and circulate that, and we prove to ourselves by taking 10%, it doesn't waver. If we can't pay our bills one month, we don't cut it down to 8%. We commit to 10% and we send it out into the community. We send our monies out to Youth Futures sheltered homes. We love the idea of that organization supporting youth that don't have all of the luxuries that most of us grew up with, that are trained and taught how to live independently. They're given a bed and given food. So we support them every month with some of our tithe. We send our tithe out to spiritual communities that support us. Anton, who is our affiliate, Emerson Theological Institute. So we have a plan here. We are following this system. We are following these prosperity laws. And I'm glad and happy and so thrilled to say that 5.5 years into what we're doing, that we have over $20,000 in our savings. Yeah? No big deal? Thank you. Yeah. And so that happens because we have been following these spiritual principles. We want to keep on growing. So we're going to keep on following this. We're going to keep on doing these things. So I want to talk a little about the tithing thing. Check my time here. Oh, we've got 5 minutes, so you've only got about 3 minutes to sit through it. So hold on. Hold on. Okay, so what is tithing? Now it says in the Bible, does anyone know that book? Anyone read that book? It says in the Bible, and I actually take all of my, I go to the Lamsa Bible. It's an ancient Eastern translation of the text that was taken from an Aramaic version, which was the language that Jesus the Christ actually spoke. So it is a little bit different because it hasn't been interpreted through other organizations, or it's coming straight from that ancient text. So for those of you Bible scholars, some of the words may sound a little bit different, but not really. So it says in, is it Malachi?
Malachi.
Who is it? Malachi 3:10, I believe. It says, "Bring all ye tithes into my storehouse, that there may be food in my house, and prove me now in this, says the Lord of hosts. And I will open up the windows of heaven for you, and pour out blessings for you, until you should say, it is enough." So what does that mean? The metaphysical interpretation of that. So I want us to get that as peoples of increase, peoples that are committing to our prosperity and abundance, and peoples that are interested in building this spiritual community up. So tithes does simply mean 10% of all of our income. So into my storehouse. So what's the storehouse? The storehouse is the place that you're spiritually fed, right? A storehouse is a place that you go to get your spiritual food. The Satya Center is a place you come to get your spiritual food. There's many places you go to get your spiritual food. It could be a class that you go to. It could be an author that you read. It could be someone that you sit down and have a cup of coffee or tea with, and they give you some spiritual food. So this is one way that you can circulate the abundant flow of the universe through you and pass out that 10% seed. So you give to the storehouse, the place where you're physically fed. And then it goes on, that there may be food in my house. So where's God's house? If God is all there is, and that's what we teach here at the Satya Center and in metaphysics, that God is everything. God is everywhere. God is everything. So then right here is God's house. Right here is God's house. In the here and now, the world we live in. So we bring our tithes to the storehouse, to the world we live in. And in this way, we're saying that there's plenty. There's plenty to go around. And we're circulating this spiritual food to everyone. It says, now prove me now. It's the only place in the Bible, according to Ed Wein, that it says, God says, prove me. So what does that mean? So we get to trust in this grand overall designing intelligence, G-O-D, grand overall designing intelligence, and we challenge it that we can put it to the challenge through this 10% law. Let's see. We can prove to ourselves with experimenting in this way. And that's what Pam and I are going to be talking about in the Prosperity Plus. Experimenting with this very simple 10% seeding. And then we prove to ourselves. We prove to ourselves that we are abundant. We cultivate a consciousness, so we're allowing more abundance through and to flow through us. And it says to the Lord. A lot of people say Lord. Well, metaphysically, Lord translates as law, L-A-W. The law. Because the law always says yes. So we prove to ourselves by working with the law, and the law always says yes. It says, and I will open the windows of heaven for you and pour out blessings. So what are the windows of heaven and where are they? They're within you. They're within me. The windows of heaven mean the consciousness. You try this, you practice it, and the consciousness will open up within you to allow the abundant blessings of the universe to show up in front of you as your everyday life. Opportunities, just the right people. Somebody will give you a call. We participate in this 10% so we can activate the law and have it work in our very life by developing the consciousness within us. So I'm going to continue with this teaching and really give to you in a very clear way next week how you can implement this in your life and really change all the areas that you're feeling maybe there's some stagnation. Abundance isn't just about money. Abundance isn't about prosperity, monetarily. It's about you having a healthy life. You having relationships that work. Your physical body strong. You having enough money to do good in the world. And you having a true connection to your divine purpose. And having a clear understanding of how to do steps that get you in alignment and realizing your divine purpose here on earth. That's what this is all about. So thank you. You did really well at breathing through that whole tithing talk. So thank you. And I'd like to close with a prayer. So let's breathe and know that God is our only supply. And we touch that God, that supply, that absolute first cause within ourselves. God is in the here and now, right now. We each access the kingdom of heaven, and the doors of heaven open up within us, within our conscious awareness, as we truly say yes to this abundant universe. We say yes to a good life, yes to friendship, yes to passion and creativity, yes to there being healing on this planet, yes to all of our brothers and sisters moving out of struggle and pain, moving into this place of absolute plenty. There is no lack in this world. The only issue is a distribution one. We need to realize that we are distribution centers for the love of God to flow through us. We are the way we show up in the world as distributing love, happiness, kindness, funds, all of the things. They come through human beings, me and you. So let us today commit to living by these spiritual laws, to understanding that it is up to us to put these laws into practice, to circulate the flow, to honor each and every person, to forgive those that maybe we think have wronged us, to take responsibility for being a loving presence on the planet. And when we do, and I know that we're doing it right now, feel it. Feel everything inside you realigning itself to say, yes, I'm a responsible party for the life that I experience. Yes, I take responsibility for it all right now. It's up to me. I commit to it. And I'm a wise custodian of all this energy within me. And I distribute it. Tithes, time, talent, help, support, smiles. I distribute all of that through me with a loving, generous heart. And I say thank you. Thank you for life showing up in such a beautiful way. It's just an outpicturing of my consciousness. And I say thank you to this. Thank you to all beings. And let's send out this blessing to all peoples, that everyone gets a hit on this great feeling of love and abundance and prosperity right now. And see that happening across our state, across our country, across our globe. We live in an abundant universe. We just need to become allowing, and we do right now. We simply just say yes and we accept it. It is our birthright. Thank you. More please. Even better. Thank you. More please. Even better. This is how it flows and this is how it goes. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you for blessing us with your presence today and being a part of the Satya Center. You're invited to join Reverend Ali and Reverend Lyle each Sunday morning at 10 a.m. for your dose of connection, inspiration, and co-creation. The Satya Center is located at 795 24th Street, Ogden, Utah. For directions, a map, and our service times, please see our website, thesatyacenter.org. This program was brought to you by the kind donations from the members of the Satya Center. Thank you.